All right, let's just jump right into this. I want you to think about something for a second. A world without that single, invisible force that powers, well, everything. What would actually happen if one day someone flipped the switch and it stayed off forever?
So it would probably start small, right? You go to flick on a light and nothing. You try another one, still dark. At first you just think, that's annoying. Just a minor inconvenience, the kind of thing you might not even think twice about.
But then comes that more personal shock. You reach for your phone, to see what's going on, and the screen is just black. It won't charge, and that connection you have to the entire world, sitting right there in your hand, it's gone. That's when that first feeling of real isolation starts to creep in. And that's when you'd probably notice it, the silence. I mean, think about it. That constant low-level hum of modern life, the fridge, the AC, even the traffic in the distance, it's all just vanished. It's this deep, unsettling quiet that just blankets absolutely everything.
Yeah, this is not just a power cut. It's not a storm that took out a transformer down the street. This feels different. And that chilling question starts to form in your mind and in the minds of everyone everywhere. What if it's not coming back on? Like, ever?
So let's really picture that first morning. That initial confusion, it starts to fade, and it's replaced by this horrifying realization. This is not a local problem. This is a global catastrophe. And we're all living through the very first hours of a totally new and frankly terrifying new age.
So inside your home is basically a museum of useless technology. But outside, it's absolute chaos. Modern cars with their electronic ignitions, they're just bricks blocking every single road. Up in the sky, planes are flying totally blind. They can't talk to anyone on the ground. And the same thought starts to hit everyone at the same time. This isn't temporary. This is the new normal.
Okay, let's zoom out for a second, from all that personal chaos to the bigger picture. Our entire civilization, when you think about it, is like this incredibly complex, delicate machine, and someone just ripped the plug out of the wall. What we're about to see is a total, catastrophic system failure, and it's happening everywhere. And what's truly terrifying is how fast it all falls apart. I mean, look at this. Within the first hour, transportation just grinds to a halt. No traffic lights, no subways, no airports. By hour 6, we're plunged into total information darkness. The internet is gone, phones are dead. By the end of day 1, the supply chains that feed us, they're broken. And within just 48 hours, even clean water stops pumping into our cities. It's that fast. And this really gets to the heart of what's at stake here. See, modern civilization isn't just about cool buildings and highways. It's a massive, tangled web of interconnected systems, and every single one of them depends on something else. And the one single thread holding that entire web together, you guessed it, electricity. You cut that thread, and the whole thing just unravels.
Okay, so after that initial terrifying collapse is over, what does life even look like? We're not talking about roughing it for a few days. This is about trying to adapt to a world that's been thrown back centuries, literally overnight.
I mean, this comparison really says it all, doesn't it? We go from having instant global communication to just word of mouth. From a digital economy with trillions of dollars zipping around to just bartering for what you need. And maybe the scariest of all, from advanced, life-saving healthcare to the most basic, primitive medicine. It's a total reset.
Just think about the pillars of our society, just crumbling. The internet, which is kind of like our collective brain, right? Poof, gone. The banks, shut down. All that digital money, your life savings, it's completely inaccessible. Might as well not exist. And at night, our bright, glowing cities are plunged into a kind of deep, absolute darkness that nobody has seen for centuries.
But, humanity is nothing if not resilient. After all that shock and chaos, people would start to adapt. It wouldn't be easy, and it definitely wouldn't be pretty. Because before you can even think about rebuilding, you have to face the brutal, immediate crises. And we're talking life and death stuff right out of the gate.
And the first, most brutal challenge would be in our hospitals. I mean, every single life support machine, every monitor, every piece of diagnostic tech just goes silent. The backup generators, they'd run out of fuel eventually, and probably pretty fast. This is where the human cost of this whole thing becomes devastatingly, heartbreakingly real. It's the first fire every new community would have to put out.
So, for the people who make it through that initial phase, the path forward would probably happen in stages. First up, just pure survival, getting food, water, staying safe. Step 2, people would start organizing into smaller local communities, for safety and to pool resources. Then, step 3 is fascinating, rediscovering all those old school mechanical skills. All of a sudden, being a mechanic or a farmer or a doctor isn't just a job, it's the most valuable skill you can possibly have. And finally, you adapt. You settle into a new life of manual farming and a totally local existence.
This whole thought experiment really forces us to see something we take for granted every single day. It kind of shines a light, ironically enough, on that invisible foundation that's holding up our entire world.
And suddenly, guys like Nikola Tesla and Thomas Edison, they stopped feeling like names in a history book. They feel more like the literal architects of our reality. Their genius is the line that separates our world of light and connection from that dark, silent world we just imagined. They didn't just invent a few gadgets, they built the entire operating system for modern society.
And that really brings us to the core message, doesn't it? It's no exaggeration at all to call electricity the lifeblood of our society. It's this invisible current, flowing through the veins of our civilization, carrying all the energy and information that allows it to live and breathe.
So, in the end, no, the world wouldn't end. Humanity is tough. We would survive. But our world, the life we know right now, that would vanish in an instant. And it kind of leaves you with one last question to chew on. Besides electricity, what's the most powerful force in your own life that you never really see?
It's a huge question, right? And hey, if this whole thing got your gears turning, do us a favor and hit that like button. It honestly helps us a ton and lets us keep making more of these explainers for you.
And on that note, I've got to ask, be honest with yourself. How long do you really think you could last in a world with no power? Drop your answer down in the comments. I'm genuinely curious to see what you all think.
And of course, if you're into more of these mind-blowing what-if scenarios, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out. Thanks for diving into this one with us.